Good afternoon, Tony Dottino, doing my Live with Tony. I am the founder of the USA Memory Championship and happy to report that we're moving forward towards our 25th event. We will have qualifying events hosted by Memory League, and that will be done virtually, and we will take the top 12 people and bring them to Winter Park, Florida in September at Full Sail University, where we will produce a YouTube broadcast that will go out to everyone in the country. So we're moving along and making progress. We've got people signing up, so I would encourage anyone listening to this, interested in it, take a look at the USA Memory Championship website, and it will tell you what you would need to do to register if you want to be at least a competitor on the virtual games put out by Memory League. That you can do from the comfort of your own residence. We will then give you a chance to benchmark against other people in their memory skills, and that will bring 12 people to Orlando Winter Park, which is outside of Orlando here in Central Florida, to compete for who's got the best memory in the United States. The exciting part about that is it is our 25th anniversary, and we are really excited about the fact that we have actually done this 25 years of competitions, and that to me is exciting. And if you would have told me when I first started this, I wouldn't have believed that we'd still be running memory championships 25 years later. But today I want to cover an article that I started with on Friday in the Mind, Mood, and Memory April issue put out by the Massachusetts General Hospital. And I started on Friday talking about the benefits of having a hobby and how it can boost your mood, right? Do I feel joyful today? Do I feel sad? It just gives me something to put my mind to. How it helps your memory, and certainly what I focus on very often are thinking skills. So what is this going to do to help me think and be more creative and be more focused on things that I need to do? Remembering appointments, remembering critical procedures I need for my job, remembering lessons that I need for an exam, a professional exam, a school exam. So how do I bring this together, and how does a hobby help me do that? So I started on the front part of this and then realized there's another whole section or another whole page on the back end of this that really has some really terrific tips on it. So it talks about on the surface. So now, like on the surface, hobbies may help to relieve stress, and people think that they bring enjoyment to it. If you have a hobby you share with someone, people just get, well, gee, this makes me happy. It makes me calm. It gives me some stress relief. Takes me away from things that are upsetting to me. But more importantly, the nature of a hobby is good for your memory and your brain functions, meaning your ability to absorb information, comprehend, your ability to let that process and mean something, the ability to translate it into actions and behaviors. So the hobbies are not just to think through. What I found interesting about this article is hobbies weren't just to think through the elements of relaxing and just getting away from it, as we very often will say. I need to get away from it, and I go out and plant in the garden, or I go away, I go out and I run, or I get away, I go do a jigsaw puzzle or a crossword. But there are activities that are important about hobbies that engage your brain so that it makes you have to think, and it sharpens your thinking skills, which are very, very beneficial. Maybe you do a daily crossword. I was going to have one here in front of me. I don't have this. Maybe you're doing a daily crossword puzzle. Maybe what you're doing is a spelling bee or a Wordle, right? There's lots of Wordles and word spell jumbles where you do. There's all kinds of different brain games in newspapers today. You can almost pick up every newspaper. You have a crossword, maybe a Sudoku, maybe a Wordle. But they engage your thinking. What they're all designed to do is engage you to think. And that's the most important thing I talk to when I'm discussing with people with memory techniques. Obviously, the first thing you have to do is focus. What studies have shown to us that learning a new skill, maybe it's photography or quilting, it activates working memory and processing speed, meaning it helps you to Go back to your memory and say, what do I remember about this? And how does it help me process some creativity or some solutions or some problem solving? Even playing video games. This is what I found interesting in this article, which is sometimes given a bad rap. It is shown to result in improving memory after playing these video games for 4 weeks. Now, I don't know what that linkage is, but my goodness, I try to discourage my grandkids from playing on video games. And now this article is suggesting that video games can help their memory if they get to play for 4 weeks. Well, I'm sure they have been playing it for more than 4 weeks, so I'm not worried about that. However, all hobbies are not beneficial if the hobby causes you to be stressed at times. You're not picking it up fast enough. Boy, somebody is learning it at the same time you're learning it, and they're picking it up a lot faster, and therefore, why do I want to keep doing this? I liken that to my own experiences. And you go to classes and you go learn, well, how we're going to paint. Right? I've tried doing that a few times. I'm just not the world's greatest painter yet. If I see other people, they pick it up and they look like they create masterpieces that belong in the Museum of Modern Art, I kind of feel like, whoa. Recently, we've had Kathy Fowler joining us in the Memory Institute we do at the YMCA, and she does these art projects. Did one with a marble over a canvas, and then people created these outlines of an abstract painting, and then they painted different colors in. They were gorgeous. I said, man, I could do that. That's not so hard. And so it's interesting is how your teacher brings you through these hobbies so that you're learning a new skill, you're learning something new that you might be able to take with your life experiences and expand it. And so what's important is maintain your stress levels at a low level and not get worked up if something's not coming well or quickly. I see some people just, well, life, I've always learned things so fast, and all of a sudden now I'm slowing down. And I say, you're not really slowing down, you're challenging your brain maybe in different pathways that hadn't been challenged before, and that's a good thing, because now it's growing new pathways. It's adding to what that you already have, and it creates some new patterns and some new thinking, the thinking skills that you gain from that. Then bring back the comprehension and how we learn those skills, and now it starts to impact my memory. It brings back thoughts from the past that you now bring into the present, which is your demonstration of your own memory. And a hobby should not become an obsession where you just, this is all I'm going to do all day long because I love it, and I'm going to be good at it, and I'm going to finish this 2,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and I'm going to finish this in the next day. And here you are 2 days later, and all you're thinking about is this jigsaw puzzle. Or sometimes I see these big giant crosswords, and I'm tempted to do these crosswords, but one of the things I've realized when I do a giant crossword, it's not a one-day project. So I put some time limits, I put some restrictions on. I'm not going to become obsessive about it. I want to enjoy it, but not to the point where I ignore family or I ignore sitting down and having dinner, or I push things off that I should be doing. You may want to have somebody join you in a hobby. This is the interesting part. Find some fellow hobbyists. Features of hobbies, you may love doing nothing more than curling up with your own book, which could be fine. But if you want to make reading a social activity, you might want to join a book club. And there are more book clubs. I'm talking to more and more people that are in book clubs. And what's always been amazing to me is you could have 3 people read the same book, saying the same chapter, and ask all 3 of them, what did you get out of that chapter? Or what did you get out of that page? What did you get out of that person's life story? And it's always diverse, which is what I say to people. If you have a brain that's working, it's diverse because of the infinite capacity we have to create, to retain, to talk, communicate. It's amazing what we're capable of doing just with an average human being. There's likely a community band. This is interesting. I saw it. Yeah, I hadn't thought about this. Well, I played drums when I was in high school in the marching band and was a drummer on the snare line going down the street marching in a band. But find someone that is a musician, and let them become part of your buddy system. So you want to do these hobbies, you want to do them in pairs. You find somebody you can do cooking classes with, somebody you might want to learn to play bridge with, somebody may do pottery in an art class. It's amazing how many different people there are. But remember, a hobby, so this is how I'll close up today's Live with Tony. A hobby is meant to be enjoyable. We got to always remember that, right? That we want to do these things to enjoy and benefit ourselves. And it's interesting. It's something that's going to keep you wanting to come back because you found that, wow, this is really worth having me spend some of my time. The minute those features fade, it's not enjoyable, and you're not finding it interesting, you got to move on. There are countless hobbies and hobbyists waiting for you to join in the fun. I like their use of the word fun. It's got to be something you enjoy doing. It's interesting. You're learning something. You can't wait to tell somebody else. You go home, you tell your kids or your spouse or whatever. And if your schedule has there are countless hobbies and hobbyists waiting for you to join. If your schedule has room for stargazing, cycling, tap dancing, or collecting a new and beneficial hobby, crafts await you, because it is endless in terms of the different things that people do for interesting, enjoyable fun that just gives them a chance to get away from things, but more importantly, improve their memory and also improve their own creativity. And we're off to another week, which just seems to fly by every week now, and we're getting closer and closer to July when we do our USA Memory Championship qualifying events, and that brings us closer to September, which is where we'll do our 25th final event. Until we get back out here on Wednesday, have a good week.